Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with me today, Mrs. Gettings.
No problem.
Brandon, I've really enjoyed working with you these past 2 years and getting to know you better. I know you're excited about turning 18 this summer and going to college in the fall, and I remember you mentioned that you're going to the same college as your mom and dad, which is very cool because they can help you get familiar with the campus and your new setting.
We're all very excited. We're just a little bit worried about making new friends.
And that's understandable, and I'm glad you brought that up because Brandon and I have been working on developing strategic competence for him, which should help with that.
What exactly is that?
Strategic competence simply means providing him with ways to both prevent and fix a communication breakdown.
Okay.
And if you think about it, we all have communication breakdowns every day. Let me give you an example. If I were on the phone with my sister while I was cooking dinner and I turn away from the phone for a second in the middle of a sentence and she doesn't hear what I said, her way of clarifying what she missed would be to ask me, "What did you just say?"
That makes sense.
Yes. And so we want to provide Brandon with these strategies in order for him to be the best effective communicator possible in all different types of situations.
What kind of strategies do you think would work for him?
We've been working on a couple of great strategies. We want to provide Brandon with a way to prevent communication breakdown. And so to do this, we're going to give him a way to introduce himself and his system. He can say a couple things about himself that he wants others to know. However, it is important that he put a sentence or two in his introduction about his physical limitations and how they affect his ability to communicate in a timely manner.
But won't that make people focus on his disability and not on him as a person?
I can understand your concern with that. However, it is important for him to put it in there. We don't want it to be the focus. But he does need to have just a sentence or two so people are aware of his physical limitations and so they know that they need to recognize the need to be patient with Brandon and just let him take his time to get his message out without interrupting him. And I think that will really cut back on the interruptions and the frustrations.
That sounds good. I hate when people interrupt him.
Yes, and I do too. And he has expressed to me that it's extremely frustrating when people interrupt him. Another situation that Brandon might find himself in is, say he's just hanging out in his dorm room with his friend Matt, and Matt asks Brandon, "Hey, where do you want to go to dinner tonight?" And Brandon might start to type it in his system, and what Matt can do to save time is what we call partner prediction, and all that means is that he can either guess the word, the phrase, or the sentence that Brandon is typing to cut back on Brandon having to type out the whole entire message, and also to clarify whether or not that is where he wants to go or that isn't where he wants to go. To say yes, he could vocalize or or shake his head yes. If he wants to say that's not where he wants to go, he can say He can make a facial expression like frowning. He can shake his head no.
What happens if he's still not understood?
If he's not understood in a situation, okay, let's say for example Brandon is in the library and he is looking for books on a subject that he's doing for a research paper. And so he naturally asks the librarian for some assistance and he types in his system what he's looking for, or maybe one subject, and the librarian automatically cuts him off as soon as it pops up and says, "Okay, come with me, I can show you where that book is." But say Brandon has another question for her. In this instance, we'll have a button for Brandon where he can say wait, or he can say please let me finish.
It sounds like it would be very helpful.
Yes, all of these strategies are going to be really helpful for Brandon, I think. And the last thing I just wanted to talk about is if Brandon was in natural conversation, say watching a football game with his buddies, and he wanted to comment on a lousy call he thought the referee made. Instead of having to type it in his system and the call was made 3 minutes ago, Brandon can push a button on his system that says, "Please wait while I prepare my message." That way they know that he had something to say in that instant. And Brandon, I think it's really important that we've been working on these strategies to help you communicate more effectively, and I really think it's going to help prevent frustration in your new setting, don't you? Well, thank you for meeting with me today. Do you all have any questions?
I don't. I think you answered everything.
All right, well, you all have a great day.
Thanks, Susan.
I'll walk you out.
All right, thanks.